This is your reality check.
Hi everyone, and welcome to The Reality Check, the Canadian show that explores a wide range of controversies and curiosities using science and critical thinking. I'm your host, Darren McKee, and with me, as usual, is Adam Gardner.
What's up, cuboids?
We have a great show for you today. Adam is going to ask and answer the question, what kind of cat is Garfield anyway? For you older listeners, that makes sense. For you younger listeners, he'll explain what Garfield is. But first, I'm going to look into whether orange cats are weird.
Weird.
And yes, that means we have a cat-themed episode.
Excellent.
I happily admit to watching cat videos on Instagram. They're just so ridiculous and cute. I've noticed a recurring framing, quote, typical orange behavior to describe weird or aggressive actions by orange cats. As well, many comments on orange cat videos showing something weird or silly will say something similar along the lines of course, it's orange. Or orange cat detected. Or what did you expect from an orange cat? And of course, orange cat energy. That's when you know you're on the internet.
Yep.
But is this true? Are orange cats more aggressive than other cats? Are they weirder? Or are we just projecting our own stories under their ginger fur? So let's separate the fact from the fiction, explore the science, and uncover why orange cat energy has become such a cultural phenomenon. First, let's get the science and the basic facts straight. Orange isn't a breed of cat. It's a coat color caused by the pigment phenylamelanin from the orange O gene, which sits on the X chromosome. Because males only need one copy of the gene to show orange, while females need two, most orange cats are male. That sex imbalance matters. Male cats often show different behavioral tendencies than females, especially if not neutered. Another genetic quirk, every orange cat is a tabby. Whether their stripes are bold or faint, the tabby M on the forehead is always there. This isn't a mystical M, it's just how the gene expresses itself. So when people talk about orange tabbies, they're really just saying orange cats, because the tabby pattern is unavoidable. Due to the way the gene works, every red or orange cat shows at least faint tabby markings, sometimes called ghost stripes.
Oh, cool.
Even orange cats that look solid reveal stripes in bright light or when their fur is trimmed. I like the idea that some listener's going to hold their cat up to a light. So genetically, there's no such thing as a solid orange cat. They're all tabbies. Oh, just a quick note, tabbies come in a variety of colors. So while all orange cats are tabbies, not all tabbies are orange cats.
Fair.
Okay, orange cat energy. On the internet, orange cat energy has become shorthand for cats who are goofy, loud, or downright bizarre. Viral videos show them screaming at doors, picking fights with dogs, or knocking over everything in sight. Cats. This meme culture paints orange cats as the class clowns of the feline world. They're lovable but unpredictable. Think of Garfield's laziness, Heathcliff's mischief, or the countless TikToks of ginger cats causing trouble. So why might this stereotype stick? Well, it's memorable. A bright orange cat doing something weird is more shareable than a gray cat doing the same thing. Hating on the grays. Anthropomorphism. We project personalities onto visible traits. Just as blondes or redheads carry stereotypes in human culture, orange cats inherit narratives from their fur. There may have been some cross-pollinization here. And male behavior. Well, most orange cats are male, as I said, and behaviors like rough play or roaming get folded into orange cat energy myths. But is another reason the stereotype might stick because it's true? No, that is not supported by science. I know, tragic for this show.
Yeah.
No scientific evidence supports the idea that orange cats are meaner or more aggressive. Their behavior is as varied as any other cats. Male skew may explain some boldness, but aggression isn't linked to coat color. Additionally, many think orange cats are less intelligent. But this isn't...
Sorry, I feel bad for the fictional orange cat.
I don't care so much about cats. It is endearing. But this isn't supported by good evidence either. Viral videos exaggerate clumsiness for humor. Intelligence varies individually, not by fur color. Okay, what about orange cats being risk takers? This may be somewhat true, as some studies suggest orange males may engage in riskier behavior in rural settings, but this is context dependent and not universal.
That explains Heathcliff, because he was like a street cat.
Some male cats may be more aggressive, but that's not about coat color, as I said. Now, while researching this segment, I came across the idea that orange cats are more sweet and affectionate. So I had never heard this before, but that's what some self-report surveys have said, as covered in Psychology Today, which you can find in the show notes on our website, trcpodcast.com.
Great website.
But are orange cats actually friendlier? Well, it's hard to support that claim. It's likely various biases can lead to such beliefs. For example, good old confirmation bias. If you expect orange cats to be cuddly, you'll interpret their behavior that way.
Sure.
Visibility bias. Brightly colored cats stand out, so their affectionate moments are more memorable. And again, the good old male skew. With most orange cats being male, some of their boldness could be interpreted as sociability, which is then more, of course, about their sex-linked traits versus the color itself.
Did any research show male cats being more cuddly or more affectionate?
I don't think so, but you could just see them maybe, again, it's almost the confirmation bias again, where people are interpreting certain actions as just being more extroverted.
Yeah.
So in summary, there isn't good evidence to indicate orange cat energy is a thing. That orange cats are sweeter, more aggressive, or dumber than other cats. As for why these myths stick around, well, it's probably some combination of the following. Cultural storytelling. Humans love to assign personality to visible traits. Just as red-haired humans are stereotyped as fiery, orange cats get labeled as bold or silly. The good old internet amplification. Memes exaggerate quirks, cementing orange cat energy as a cultural trope. And sex-linked patterns. As I said before, with most orange cats being male, behaviors typical of males, territoriality, boldness, get folded into the orange cat myth. As perhaps there's also some emotional resonance. People remember the orange cat that made them laugh or comforted them, and those stories spread faster than neutral experiences. So, you can't trust everything you see on the internet, which is a shock.
You cannot.
And I even sent Adam some videos earlier today, like orange cat energy, orange cat acting weird, and that sort of thing. And I don't usually see a list of like black cat energy or white cat energy. It just doesn't happen with other cats. But I'm pretty sure someone could compile a similar set of videos which say and show similar things.
Yeah, almost surely. And I think the fact that the research doesn't sort of bear this out, it should tell us something about the stereotypes we assume of people. And in cats, it's kind of interesting to think about because you see the color of the cat as being an analog to the color of a person. But in this case, it's the cat's fur, which is more like the hair. But yeah, I mean, people have stereotypes about people based on their hair color. People have stereotypes about people based on their skin color or whatever. And those are mostly not valid. They're not based in reality. Unless it's something very specific like, a person with red hair tans more or something. That's a little different. But
I want to say burns more.
Burns more when they're tanning or something like that. Something really strictly physiological.
Yeah.
Same thing with maybe a white cat is more like I had a white cat that had sunburn on its ears. Just same kind of thing. But that's very very interesting. And I had an orange cat. I won't mention in my segment, but I have a fondness for orange cats as well.
Well, we're just going to go from one orange cat segment to the next because that's what this show is all about.
That's right.
By the way, listeners, it's super windy when we're recording this, so if you happen to hear some ambient wind sounds or even shaking of outside infrastructure sounds, it's due to the wind. I have some fond memories of reading Garfield comic strips when I was younger. That crazy cat and his silly antics, including John and Odie. Adam, what kind of cat is Garfield?
That's a great question. So since you did a segment on orange cats, it seemed like a good time to do a segment I've, for some reason, wanted to do for years. Garfield, American icon, king of the funny pages, hater of Mondays, lover of lasagna, is world-renowned. A normal-looking cat, only... do any cats really look like that? Like Darren, I've been a Garfield fan most of my life. When I was young, I would read him in the newspaper and watch him on TV. I once saw a TV special about Garfield where Jim Davis showed how to draw the character. I paid enough attention and I would draw him everywhere. So earlier this week, before preparing the segment, I attempted to draw Garfield from memory, and I was kind of happy with how it turned out. I sent that to Darren. What do you think, Darren?
I thought it was pretty good.
Well, thank you. So I'm going to put that in the show notes or something if you want to see it.
Also, not your segment, but I used to think that the Garfield Christmas special was much better than the Peanuts Christmas special.
I was always a big fan of the Garfield Christmas special when they turn on the lights. And
yes, it just wasn't on as much, but it had more heart. It was more fun. Now as an adult, I can see why some people like my Peanuts, but it's just more depressing.
Yeah. As a kid, I even went through a brief phase where I planned to draw comics when I grew up, largely inspired by Garfield. So my favorite food at the time, and so one of my favorites is lasagna. And somehow, I never really noticed that Garfield doesn't look like any sort of real cat that I know of. Garfield is meant to be a sort of normal everyday cat. He's not meant to be physically exceptional, with his personality being the real outlier. He is generally described as a tabby Persian cat. Garfield is drawn as being orange with black stripes. But what cat is actually orange with black stripes? So growing up, I had an orange cat named Sammy. Big orange energy there. He was about my age, so he lived with me until I was about 19. I love Sammy very much, but he didn't look anything like Garfield. And similarly, the cats that Darren described in his segment didn't really look like Garfield. So Sammy was orange with a bit of white, so those would have been the stripes, but no black stripes. Tigers have black stripes. Cats don't really have black stripes, or not the orange ones. A few years ago, I got a fun t-shirt which had Garfield on it, along with the words Neon Genesis Evangelion, written in the same font as the title card for the show Garfield and Friends. A very specific, bizarre gag. Evangelion is a fantastic anime series from 95. It's about a troubled adolescent who hesitantly gets into a giant robot to fight aliens while struggling to have a relationship with his friends, colleagues, his distant father, and various placeholders for his mother, including clones, and her being kind of the robot.
Adam, don't talk down to our audience.
So it's fantastic. It has nothing to do with Garfield. That's why the shirt was absurd. But I was playing around with Midjourney at the time, and I wanted to make images of Garfield in an Evangelion mech, or as an Evangelion mech, and a lot of things like that. And I don't know. It was just a prompt I was playing around with. But when I tried to make a realistic Garfield, the model was kind of bad at it. Garfield would be shown as orange with orange stripes, but he never looked like an orange cat with black tiger stripes, like I always kind of visualized him. The model was also terrible at making lasagna. It just sort of did like layered spaghetti, but it's got much better since then. So this is when I realized that Garfield doesn't look like any sort of real cat, and this is the problem. Realistic photos of cats from Midjourney are based on real photos of cats, so they don't have a real photo of a cat that looks like Garfield, right?
It's trickery. These AI, you can't trust them one way or the other.
No. So as I mentioned, Garfield is a tabby Persian. So tabby cats can be orange, but these are generally either orange with white stripes or orange with, different colors of orange stripes, kind of like what Darren mentioned. So is Garfield meant to be orange with like darker orange stripes? They really do look black. And specifically about Persians, an orange tabby Persian cat, which Garfield presumably is, doesn't look any more like Garfield. It's just a much fluffier cat. Garfield never struck me as being particularly pluffy. No disrespect intended to the iconic Garfield, but I think he was assumed to be a bit chubby, not fluffy.
Yeah, that was my understanding also.
Hence eating the lasagna. So Persians have a sort of flat face, which Garfield doesn't really have that typical Persian face. Again, orange Persian tabbies are either orange and white or orange and a slightly different color of orange, but never orange and black. For a while, I was trying to find an example of a cat with orange fur and black stripes, kind of like a small tiger. So I would search for images of cats that had coloring like a tiger, and these were clearly like fake doctored images. And these were usually digital edits done by hand, not with AI, because AI was kind of new when I was first looking at this. So there are Bengal cats, and some orange Bengal cats do have dark, even black markings, but these markings aren't stripes. They're more sort of spots or little circles. And Bengals also have dots on their bellies, which Garfield, doesn't have. Also, Bengals are a designer breed. They are bred by crossing a domestic cat with an Asian leopard cat, and the first such cross was from 1889. But Bengals as a modern breed weren't common until much later. They became prominent in the 1980s. Garfield's first appearance was 1976. So that image of Garfield in the comic John, which was later renamed to Garfield, didn't have stripes. So the Garfield as we know him, the orange Garfield with the black stripes, has been around at least since 1978. So I don't think it's fair to say Garfield is a Bengal cat.
No, two things. Well, also, he doesn't look like a Bengal cat at all.
Not really.
Cats are longer, more muscular.
They're just kind of skinny,
They're just more robust also.
Yep.
And also, the fact that the comic was named John.
Yeah.
Like he's the star. I mean, it does center around his life, I guess, with Odie and everyone else. But of course, it's about Garfield.
John is the punchline, if anything. Yeah. Right? John is pathetic is a common theme in the Garfield comic.
Yeah. And at least lately, if I ever glance at a comic strip when I'm near a newspaper, which I'm not often, it seems to they really just embraced quirky, absurd drawings.
Yeah.
So like, making a really ridiculous face or some reaction. There's no humor. Not to say Garfield was as sophisticated as Calvin and Hobbes, but my memory was that it was a bit more than just ridiculous faces.
Hobbes, also orange with black stripes, is an actual tiger.
Well, I mean, he's an actual
stuffed tiger. Well, yes, but he's
actually a two-dimensional depiction of a stuffed tiger.
But Hobbes, as portrayed in the Calvin and Hobbes comic, is Calvin's living imagined version of his stuffed toy.
Yes. No, he's very tiger-like.
He's drawn to be a real tiger.
He looks more tiger-like than Tigger.
Yes, absolutely. So a while later, I did stumble upon something that actually did look like Garfield. Something I don't know why I didn't find in my original searches. I might have been using the wrong words. I don't know. is another type of designer cat breed called the toyger. It's a portmanteau of toy and tiger. So these are orange cats with black stripes who really do resemble cat-sized tigers. The breed comes from selective breeding of tabby cats. It started in the 1980s. The breeding was done starting with a tomcat from India, Bengal cats, and other domestic shorthairs with stripes. And this was done by breeder Julie Sutton, who was the daughter of Gene Mill, who created the domestic Bengal. But again, that timeline doesn't add up. Toygers in their current incarnation with prominent black stripes were not around in the late 1970s. Garfield is not an exotic breed. He is a house cat. He's not a toyger, and he's not a Bengal.
So what's the deal, Adam?
That's a good question. Jim Davis did not base Garfield on any particular cat. He grew up around farm cats, nothing too exotic, but based Garfield's personality on that of his grandfather. So let's look at Garfield in media. The original Garfield comics were sometimes black and white and sometimes in color. In black and white, the orange isn't visible. He was basically just white with stripes. Many newspapers printed their comics in black and white, keeping color maybe just for Saturday or maybe Sunday comics. So the color version was just filled in with orange color, and this really seemed like a practical consideration. You have the colored version, but you could also have a black and white version of that also appearing in different papers that didn't have color. It's a very practical consideration. Garfield is a newspaper comic character that was made for that medium. He is meant to be able to be portrayed in both color and black and white. And this is kind of the not so exciting explanation for why he is kind of an atypical color. He's made to be a cat with stripes who looks good in black and white and looks good in color. He just kind of pops from the page. Cartoons of Garfield always had him looking like his comic counterpart. So he was clearly orange with prominent black stripes in the Garfield TV specials, like the Christmas special that Darren mentioned, and Garfield and Friends TV series. Both of those aired throughout the 80s and early 90s. When it came to realistic adaptations of Garfield, he didn't really look like that at all. The 2004 live-action Garfield film, starring Bill Murray, does not feature a real cat, but instead a somewhat realistic-looking CG cat. He's realistic enough to be able to interact with human characters without him looking like Roger Rabbit. So Garfield in this film does not have black stripes. He is orange with slightly darker orange stripes, much like a real tabby cat would look. Later sequels to this film had him look more or less the same. A more recent 2024 fully CGI film has a more cartoon-like orange Garfield with black stripes, but that's not a live-action film. It's not meant to be realistic, so that's, similar to cartoon Garfield that we know. To be honest, I haven't watched any of these Garfield films. Not really for me. I was really into it in the 80s and 90s. Maybe if they came out 20 years ago, I would have watched them.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either. From what I heard, the first movie was an absolute mess, and Bill Murray had to rewrite it while it was happening.
Well, Bill Murray only agreed to do the movie because the writer's name is Joel Cohen, and he thought it was Joel Cohen of the Coen brothers.
Right. Okay,
he was in the middle of recording his lines, and he said, "Joel Cohen wrote this?" That's when he figured out it wasn't really him. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on with that movie.
I also remember a somewhat awkward Jon Stewart interview, I think with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Right, because John, could not let it go that it seemed like this movie was 10 to 20 years too late in terms of Garfield's popularity. Yes. And she, of course, just trying to do her job. Look, the movie, hopefully it's nice, it's for kids, it's going to be enjoyable. And he's like, yeah, but shouldn't it come out 15 years ago? He was actually being kind of rude about it, but it was entertaining.
It was very entertaining. So Jennifer Love Hewitt plays Jill in the film. Again, I haven't seen the film. I like Jennifer Love Hewitt. I feel that she didn't really look like Jill looks in the comics. I don't think that casting was maybe great, but maybe she's fantastic in the film. I don't know.
I mean, her acting prowess could transcend that role.
Yeah, opposite Breckenmeyer as John.
Okay.
Garfield is a comic cat drawn for newsprint. He doesn't really look like a real cat, and that doesn't seem to bother anyone but me. His style is likely simply made to work best with the type of newspaper which carried the comic in the late 90s throughout the 80s and 90s. Further, Garfield has no job. John Arbuckle is a cartoonist who works from home, so he has no reason to hate or even be aware of the existence of Mondays. Cats also don't like lasagna. They are carnivores, and while they may enjoy meat and some kinds of cheese, they would not enjoy layers of noodles and many other ingredients in lasagna. Garfield hates Mondays and loves lasagna because we are Garfield, and this is why we love him.
Whoa. I thought you were dropping all these truth bombs right at the end. All these future Garfield segments you can't do now. Nice poignant ending. Yeah, so I think this point about how it appears in print, in comic strips and newspapers makes sense because you might not have an entirely black cat, right? There's a lot of, negative beliefs about black cat superstitions, whatnot. Sure. And if it was just a white cat, it may just be less interesting, less entertaining on the page, right? You have the eyes for the face and nose and the mouth, but what about the rest of the body, right? So the stripes do add a bit of, depth, a bit of texture. Now, versus, some other types of stripes. It could be that he just doesn't know what cats look like. And he thought, okay, this is fine. This is what cats look like.
Yeah.
Or yes, there's some version where the black was meant to be orange, but once it was colorized, it couldn't be a lighter orange.
I think it was Jim Davies who said he was so bad at drawing that he used to actually put the label. And that's kind of where, like, putting the word bubbles around the characters came from. So,
interesting.
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy. It's kind of side note. It makes me think of, like, so two examples, like black doesn't work well in animation. So Luna the cat in Sailor Moon and Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service. Luna's supposed to be black and Kiki is supposed to she's a witch. She's supposed to be dressed in black. They're both purple, clearly purple. Right. And it's just like, well, it's just because the black just won't look good in the type of animation that they were doing sort of in the 80s, 90s, right?
Yeah, you're right. Otherwise you'd have to have some like almost slight white outline on the black.
Yeah, it wouldn't look right at all. Yeah, so you wouldn't see the lines. You wouldn't see the details either on the cat or on the on her
you need some very sophisticated pixels there to differentiate different depths of black if that's what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes the medium changes at least how we have to draw it, right?
The medium is the meowsage.
Yeah.
That is one of the smartest, dumbest things I've said on this show. Well, thank you, Adam. And thank you for joining us once again, listeners. If you happen to have always loved orange cats, boy, has this show been for you. You might be thinking, 725 episodes. When are they going to get to an orange cat themed show? Well, hopefully this satisfied you. Mm-hmm. For everyone else who doesn't like orange cats, sorry. Tune in next time for a better show for you. Adam covered why Garfield looks the way he does. I told you about how orange cat energy is not a thing. It's largely cognitive biases in people that are leading us to have these beliefs. But you can still watch the videos if you want. Just know there's a bit of confirmation bias. And Adam explained why Garfield looks the way he does, which is not based on real cats, at least at the time. Mm-hmm. Until next time, think better to act better.
Peace out, cuboids.
For show notes or to discuss this episode, visit our Facebook page and website at trcpodcast.com. For general inquiries or to send a topic or parody suggestion, email info@trcpodcast.com. Help support the show by leaving a review on iTunes and liking us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at TRC_podcast.
Outtakes. Recording. What the f*** is that? Someone's got a rocking chair? Okay. Sorry. Apologies. A cartoon rocking chair in the background.
Cat themed.
Darren does a cat segment.
Finally. I stopped because of the whistling, but I thought it was cute. You thought that was that funny.
Yep. It's like cat racism or something. Apparently cats are racist towards white cats. This is something a vet told me, and it may not be true.
How about we punt that topic for another show?
That's fine. Wow. Well, let me pull up my notes here.
Do I mention, by the way, it's super windy, so you might hear some of that? Or do you want to do it at the end of the show? Or not at all?
I don't know. I think it'll be okay.